morning, day 403, and it is January 31st, 2025. And that means January is almost done. My name's Toby. I am 40 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. Seems like the sound's working just fine. It is 6:01 a.m., a bit later than usually want to get started, but here we are, so we're going to get started. I do that by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours. I got 8 hours and 40 minutes apparently last night, and I'll explain to you why it was hard, I think, to get out of bed at 5 instead of a bit closer to 6. Do it by minding what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance. Try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein a day. I try to eat healthy, wholesome foods most of the time, say 95% of the time. And I do strength training, conditioning training, mobility training. And you can see my training routines here every morning when I live stream, like today. Today we're going to do some strength and conditioning from the strength, heavier kettlebells. But we are going to start off with about 200 swings with the kettlebell after a brief warm-up. This is not about the way I look. This is about the way I want to feel. I want to feel fit, capable, and competent for life. I am 40 years old, and that means that I have the regular health challenges that every 40-year-old faces. It also means that I don't recover and gain strength as easily and as quickly as I used to before, and that I am in a contest with myself, or a battle with biology, so to speak, to stay fit and healthy for the rest of my life, to prevent the need for medicine and care, and to be able to remain self-sufficient and able into my 60s, 70s, and 80s. So here we are, and that's what we're working towards. That's something you're interested in. You go ahead, check out my channel, subscribe, and we can continue this conversation together. All right? Remember, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on, and the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So I am going to hit the timer. We're going to do a little warm-up, and then we're going to get started. Yeah. In the meantime, maybe you want to drop by and chat and tell me how it is that you are doing this Friday. It is the end of the month. February is around the corner, literally tomorrow, and that means we are 31 days into January. Hey, look at us. Isn't that cool? Don't you think it's been a good month? I mean, for me, January came with its challenges, both good and bad, specifically on the consistency and motivation. But it seems like we have gotten to a good spot and a good place this month, at least. That's how I feel about it. I think that if you look at the number of times we showed up in the beginning of the year, and how training is going and progressing, we're doing well. And we started with 60 swings, worked our way up to a nice 200 swings over the course of the month. So that's progress. We're just going to have to keep moving and keep getting stronger. obviously we're trying to get to more swings with heavier weights, but that's going to be a new challenge to follow. Oh, that feels good. To continue to work on that ankle mobility to maintain comfortable deep squats, but that's a matter of time and biology. Up. All right. Let's see how it feels to start pulling some weight off the floor and start some light deadlifts. Nothing special. We are simply pulling the weight up off the floor, trying to make the proper movement. There we go. I'm going to complement that with some one-handed swings. So, I look back on January, I'd say it was challenging, but I think we met the challenge and actually are better off for it again. I also feel that whatever was causing me to be so lethargic, disinterested, and demotivated seems to have left my body. So whether it was a virus that was trying to take hold and get me to be ill, or whether that was just some fluke of not being able to have had enough sunshine over last month, whichever one it was. I'm glad that it seems to be behind me and that we found that stride again. And we're going to be doing some one-arm swings, and then the warm-up should be more or less done, and we can move on the program with the 16 and the 24. All right. So, going into February, going to find some new challenges. Obviously, we're going to have a lot that we want to do and cover that we need to talk about. when you get to those 200 swings. And that needs to become easier and easier over time. So 200 swings is a good baseline for 100 snatches down the road. Second set. Whew. Second set. On to the third set. The most important thing here is good form, good technique, building confidence and competence in the amount of work that we're doing. Third set. On to the fourth set. Definitely bringing up the heart rate here. Going into the fifth set. It's a mental thing as much as a physical thing at this point, right? When you're doing something like this. Because your mind's saying, well, why are you doing this to yourself? Are you crazy? What's the point? Swinging this heavy thing around. Relax. It's 6 in the morning. Dude, take a chill pill. Go sit, have a coffee, eat something. The thing is that is a part of the mind that needs to learn to be quiet and follow orders. Even though I appreciate it, we have a long-term plan here. Sixth set coming up. 7th set coming up. See, it's just 10 minutes of our day, but it's a tough 10 minutes if you think about it. Now we're in a battle with our mind, which is trying to convince me that I am going to not survive this. Thing is, I have survived this and worse. So I know that it is lying to me. Eighth set coming up. Does that make sense? Just don't believe that little voice. We're going to push a little harder. We're going to make this happen. Two more to go. Ninth set. We're getting fitter by the minute. Remember, proper technique, focus. Give every swing all you've got. One more set. 20 more swings. We've got this. It's funny how then at the last set it suddenly feels easier. Why? Because it's all in the mind. Alright, I need a glass of water. 200 swings. Now we're going to take a minute of rest. Hi. So, how are you doing this morning? This is what the start of my day looks like. We're going to do some rows, some racked squats, split squats probably. 5 left, 5 right. Rows 24. Because 16 proved to be slightly light the other day. YouTube punk. Oh, you're not. Thanks for dropping by saying hi. You just missed 200 swings, but pretty sure you've already done your share of work this morning. That's left. How we're going to do. All right. And I appreciate you dropping by, saying good morning, friend. And I hope life is treating you well as you're ending Thursday in a good way. For me, it's Friday morning. I already heard one of the kids upstairs, so probably between now and 10 minutes, mayhem is going to start. And that's all good. But it's a bit of mayhem. But it's good fun. And hey, like... Yeah, I'm trying to do the thing where I lift up the kettlebell properly, because 16, 20, 24 are heavy and maybe make you a bit more prone to injury than, 4, 6, and 8. So just keep that in mind for yourself as well. Yeah, that's right. It's from the old cartoon Mask, Miles Mayhem. Anyway, plans for the weekend. I am going to be taking it incredibly easy. No big plans. 1, 2, 3. Getting some core into that alongside the split squat by putting the weight in one hand and then taking away the support on that side. And that is how we grow big and strong and stable. And that core stability becomes more and more important to us. Remember, oh my God. 10 years old, it's Saturday morning, right? Whew. So, by the way, as we get closer and closer to the hiking holiday, you will see an increase in squats and HIIT, as well as endurance over strength, because we're going to have to be going up and down the mountains over and over again, and we want to be ready for that. It is so weird. I mean, if you look, to be honest, I agree with you, but if you look at most of the cartoons from that time, there's a lot of weird creative stuff going on. One of the things I think was nice about the cartoons from that age, is they weren't designed to zombify the kids and just keep them watching mindlessly. There are a lot of, neat little stories. British smaller cartoons did a good job, like of retelling the animals of Farthingwood, those kinds of things. Prince Valiant, a favorite of mine. And there were like stories with dilemmas, choices, and I think is the function of children's stories. A lot of the stuff that's being published today, I believe, are brainless or activist. There are a couple of exceptions, but generally, not the biggest fan. And a lot of it is super fast paced and just overstimulates the kids who are watching. You know, even the Batman cartoons. I mean, it was dark, it was action, but there was also a neat overarching story there. So I'm quite picky about what I let them watch. Not just everything all the time. Okay, split squats. It's funny how much easier this seems after 200 swings, how your mind just shuts on just about anything to focus on that performance. So hey, we did a bit of a reflection cycle the other day. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, because it's the end of the month. I'm going to make a long form video of this over the weekend to get up a bit earlier tomorrow, put that out on Sunday as a reflection and talk about the 4 big quadrants that I mind, in the hope that it helps you shape the 4 or 3 or 2 quadrants or halves of your life to help us build that foundation of health and fitness, because I'm about the basics. I know I'll never get rich and famous because I won't be able to scam you into buying any of my programs or any of my quick fixes or any of my hydration drinks or anything of that. All I'll have is honest advice, no ad revenue, but a lot of friends who drop by in chat for a fun conversation every morning for the next 40 years. As we train to stay fit and healthy and take on any and all of the changes that the world is about to throw our way. And there's a lot going on in the world right now, right? So stay principled, stay positive. Yeah, 200 swings will bring some clarity and then some, right? And in 10 minutes. So I worked up in Mark Wildman protocols, 10 times 6, 10 times 8, all the way up to 10 times 20 over the course of the month. And here we are, at least with the 16. I'm going to start all over with a 20 when I feel confident and strong enough. And so forth, and so on. So yeah. And in the meantime, I'm also listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Be Useful. To be very honest, like, he's an icon of my time, right? When I was a kid, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, the bodybuilder turned movie star action hero, loved the movie Twins, and now 40 years later, a nostalgia kick to get all of the backstory and his point of view. And, might not agree with everything he says. Who am I to disagree with? The Terminator. But in general, it's a useful dialogue on his life experience. And it is my belief that we can do better to listen and learn from people who've accomplished things in life, great or small. And match that to our own perspectives and our outlooks. And he's accomplished some impressive things at a personal level and in the public eye. And I think it's worthwhile and just a fun listen, because you get like 10 hours of Arnold's voice in your ear. That sound alone is quite motivating. And there we go. All right, we're going to do this one more time. And that's going to be it for the day. And for those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I'm 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, adventurous life. And I do so by minding my sleep. Got a solid 8 hours and 40 minutes last night, apparently. Minding what I eat. Try to eat within my energy balance. Try to eat sufficient protein in a day. Minding my strength, my conditioning, my mobility training. Try to spend time with people I love and care about. Try to do things that I enjoy, and generally just try to live a stress-free life. So if that's something you're interested in, and you're interested in getting fit and healthy at 40, with kettlebells, with body weight, with mobility, you gotta check out my channel, subscribe, and we can have that conversation. Emily, what would I do different in my 20s? Thanks for the question. Wow. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. What would I do different in my 20s? I preface that by saying that I have some regrets, but those were of things that nearly hurt other people. And that was never a good thing or an intention. But life can happen when you're in your teens and 20s. And you come from an unstable background. We have a lot to learn about what life is, what love is, and what friendship is. So, if that makes sense, let's preface it like that. But on the whole, I look back at my 20s and 30s as a great time where I did a lot of things. I was definitely being me, and I learned a lot. I would, however, have, I don't want to say set a bigger goal on the horizon, but would have been a bit smarter with my money. I don't think I understood well enough the difference 10 years would have made. And I came from a place where there was ample opportunity to work, no need to stick myself into debt the way I did, and still get a very high quality education. But create a better head start for life. All right, so that's one that I would definitely have done different. kept that Saturday job and been a bit wiser with the amount of debt and the burden that would bring later in life. When it comes to health and fitness, I would have definitely not. If I could go back and talk to myself, I would have said, keep going with the judo. You have your black belt. You are in a place of incredible health and fitness. And you will have that foundation with you through everything, plus that 30 minutes or that 2 hours every week or every day is going to give you some anchors in life, in your week, that are going to help you stay on track with the other things. I'd have brought more focus. It's a list, by the way, so you might want to take notes. I would have brought more focus to what I was doing. As in, I was all over the place, because that is a bit of who I am, but there was also a lot going on in my life that I was trying to distract myself from. But I would bring that focus to the things that would probably have long-term impact on my well-being and well-offness. And again, I come from a place where we weren't rich, but we weren't poor, and there wasn't any deprivation, and there weren't big challenges for me to find opportunities. But I would put more focus on building those foundations of health through sleep, which I didn't know anything about at the time. I thought coffee and Red Bull solved everything. Through exercise, through nutrition, understanding the impact of healthy food actually on my ability to function, and exercise, whether it was a mix of conditioning and strength or group sports. I'd put more focus into that, so into health, but also into relationships. I don't have that many friends from that time, but I don't think, well, I know people who are in groups that last forever. There's social structures there. The few friends that I do have, I can count on 2 hands. The real friends, good friends. And I'm very happy of how those friendships took shape. I would have been a bit more deliberate in maybe becoming part of a society or a club or something that might have become another community or cornerstone of my existence over life. And like I said before, then being a bit wiser about my finances at the time. So, great focus on the big things that create a stable life. Invest in relationships, because they'll last you a lifetime. If you can, set yourself up for financial freedom in your 20s, because by the time you hit 40, you're going to reap some of those benefits in different ways. And people always say, pursue a career that you love, like your passion has to be your job. No, your job's your job, something you do. I happen to be good at it. I happen to enjoy what I do, don't get me wrong. But it's not my end-all passion for life. There are other things that I find interesting, like spending time with my family, traveling, creative writing, creating content and videos and talking about life, that my job enables me to do. And I think the sooner you find something like that in life, the more rounded and happy you might be or become. Emily, is that an answer to your question? I hope so. He's an amazing career. Exactly. I've actually never compared the two, but it is true. But everyone's successful in their own way, right? Success comes in many different shapes, sizes, and forms and guises. That's a good insight. I appreciate that feedback. Health and fitness. These my purposes. And when do you know you have a solid friend for life? Okay. Let's see, 6:42 a.m. in Amsterdam. A solid friend. I'm not sure you ever truly really know, but there are a couple of people that I would pick up the phone and call if there was an issue to chat with. And those couple of people I would also pick up the phone and call at 3 a.m. if I was stuck somewhere or if I was in a rut. Those are also the people who will show up unexpectedly or check in just to see how it's going, what we're doing without wanting anything in return. So they're not here for the parties, they're not here for what they can get out of me. They're just there because they want to be with me, and the other way around. They're there for them through thick and thin, because I care about and am invested in their well-being and the well-being of their loved ones. But I don't think there's really a test or knowing. There's just proof that accumulates over life and over 20 years of experience and interactions. And sometimes friends are friends. I've got one friend we hardly ever talk. The moment we see each other, it's like we're 16 again. We've known each other since we were 12, and everything's just fine. I know he's busy, I know I'm busy, and life is good. But, we check in once in a while, and I know that if he'd ever need me, he'd know where to find me. I know if I never need him, I know I can drive right over, give him a call, and there'll be time and space, because that's the kind of friends we are. So yeah, I hope that answers that one. And purpose, generally, just be a good, decent human being, to take care of my kids, my family, to live my best life without getting in the way or hurting or impeding other people of living their best life. And in a way, now that I'm a father, raising my sons to be good men and to take a good place in society and to live their best life in the way that I just described, without hurting or impeding anyone else from living their best life. I think, and just do that, probably, if everyone would just do that, probably the world would be a very different place. But I think that's my take on it. I don't think there's some grand design at work that I'm a part of. I think there's just the time I have and where I'm born. And the way I say that, why I say that is, I am half Tanzanian, half Dutch. I've seen the life of my cousins and family in Tanzania who were born around the same time as I was. They had a very different life from my life. And the only real difference was geographically where I was born, and the opportunities that afforded me and the opportunities that afforded them. Right? So a lot of this just comes down to when and where and to whom you were born, if you're looking at what you may or may not achieve in life. Some people, we're talking about Arnold before, break free from that kind of background and step out into the world and really take on big challenges, and that's impressive. And I think we all can create, to a certain extent, the opportunities to do that, but it's not riskless. And there's a big survivorship bias there by looking at someone like Arnold versus the hundreds of thousands who have tried and failed for whatever reasons. Austria or Central Africa or Central Asia, for example, if you're being born anywhere, how hard or easy it is to get to a different location with different opportunities, if you understand what I'm saying. So my purpose is just be a good and decent human being, and to be kind and good to people, and to have these kinds of conversations. So I hope that's helpful and insightful. And I appreciate the questions early in the morning, Emily. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Amsterdam, being from Arkansas. Hey, That's great. I don't think I've ever met anyone from Arkansas. Uh, but it's a great pleasure to meet you, Emily, and thanks for the questions and for dropping by. Kurt, how am I doing, Coach? I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Kurt? Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Hey, Mel B, hello. Thanks for dropping by. How are the kettlebells doing? You doing all right with them? And did you? Am I speaking too softly? Sorry. Did you find any good insights on Mark or Brittany's stream? And I think YouTube Punk's also a fan of Gregory Lebestark. He's a German or an Austrian kettlebell creator. I think we have an Austrian theme here this morning. But it's good to see all of you. I'm going to call it morning because I want a cup of coffee. Coffee machine's broken. We ran out of ground coffee. I don't know where I'm going to get coffee this morning, but I'm going to have some. YouTube Punk, always good to see you. Emily, I appreciate you dropping by and asking the questions. It was a lovely conversation, a nice moment to reflect at the end of the month. Mel B, you've been watching the videos. That's good. I'm happy you found something useful in the suggestions and through the channels. Let me know how it's going and what's happening. And I know YouTube Punk also always has good tips on channels on kettlebells and trainers if you're looking for any. She's back, I saw. And Kurd, thanks for dropping by. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well as well. And Kim Knight, hello, good morning. Thanks for dropping by. Another new name in the chat. I appreciate you dropping by and saying hello. We were just wrapping up, friends. So, like I always say, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I want to feel fit, competent, and capable for what life is going to throw at me. I'm 40. I'm going to be around for another 40 years. I would like to be independent and live an adventurous life and stay free from disease and discomfort and be self-sufficient as far as possible. So I do mind my sleep, minding what I eat, training strength, conditioning, and mobility. Daily here on streams. That's something you're interested in, friends. You go ahead and subscribe, check out some of my shorts. I'm working on a little series of shorts on fatherhood. Published the first one this week. Hopefully I'll publish a whole bunch more of those, as well as talking about how to get in shape, stay healthy, get strong, and live, at least be physically capable of dealing with the challenges that life throws at us, whether unexpected or expected. We're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. There are enough people out there who want to put us down. We don't need to do that to ourselves. Let's lift ourselves up, stay positive, and remember, the only way to get anything done, friends, by showing up and doing the work. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.